In the top stories, Prime Minister's monthly health walk dubbed a success. 4 Trinidad and Tobago divers missing after mishap during an underwater project, and thousands of Ukrainians cross into Poland. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Today is Monday, the 28th of February 2022. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, last weekend's staging of the Prime Minister's monthly health walk has been dubbed a success. The monthly activity held on Saturday morning drew hundreds of participants, including members of the East and West Bus Line associations. According to a statement, Prime Minister Harris thanked the participants for their show of support for the health promotion and social activity. The Prime Minister also hailed the people for their support and for recognizing that physical activities like health walks are important to their well-being and sustainability of their health. The St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited is advising the public of scheduled maintenance outages this week up until Friday the 4th of March. The company said in a notice that the scheduled outages are necessary to perform maintenance as part of their ongoing efforts to improve reliability. On Monday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Boyd's will be expected to be affected. On Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., Buckley's, Limekiln, Camps East, Buchanan Road, and Connery Flats will be affected. And from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Mount Idle and Soho in Sandy Point will be affected. On Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., East Park Range will be affected, while Bladen Water Pump will be affected until 1 p.m. On Thursday, Gateway Inn, Parsons Housing, and Upper and Lower Monkey Hill will be affected from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And on Friday, the areas of Spooners and Shadwell Housing will be affected from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Skelec has apologized for any inconveniences that may be caused by the interruptions and has instructed persons who remain without power after the scheduled outages to call 465-2013 or 600 from a mobile phone. And in related news, the St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited is advising the public that it will be installing underground cables in Frigate Bay in the vicinity of Silver Reef to Timothy Hill for the next 2 weeks. The installation will begin on Monday and is expected to run until Friday, March 11 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, according to a statement. To complete the work, some interruptions to vehicular and pedestrian traffic is expected. The installation of the underground cable is a part of the company's ongoing efforts to improve reliability. Skelec thanked the public for its understanding and support and apologized for any inconvenience caused by the underground cable installation. For more information regarding this installation, customers can call 465-2013. We now move to news on the regional scene. Minister of Energy and Energy Industries in Trinidad and Tobago, Stuart Young, has confirmed that he's received a briefing on an incident involving 4 employees of a marine engineering company who were reported missing following a mishap during an underwater project at a berth operated by Palia Trading Company Limited in Pontypridd. More in this TTT News report.
On Friday afternoon, 5 divers working for LMCS Limited, a diving company contracted to perform underwater maintenance work for Palia Fuel Trading Company Limited, were conducting an underwater maintenance exercise when an incident took place resulting in the divers going missing. One of the divers has since been rescued. Reports are that he was taken to hospital where he remains in stable condition. Minister Young, in a Twitter post on Saturday afternoon, said he was at the Palia facilities where he was updated on the matter and the current operations that were underway. He also met with the families of the missing divers and said noting our prayers remain with all involved. On Saturday, the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard indicated to TTT News that they are doing all they could to assist in locating the missing men.
Continuing on the regional scene, in Antigua and Barbuda, residents suffering from sickle cell disease could soon have a new treatment option. That's because the government is exploring the possibility of stem cells to treat the debilitating illness. More in this report from ABS News.
People with sickle cell disease experience painful episodes called crises. The disease also causes anemia, hands and feet swelling, and frequent infections. These symptoms are what Prime Minister Gaston Bond wants to tackle using new technology. The government doesn't have to look far for support though, since world-renowned medical doctor Chadwick Prodromos operates a stem cell treatment center in this country in partnership with Sir Joseph John.
What I'm trying to do is to get the Ministry of Health to put together a government program in which they can work with Dr. Prodromos and to treat, sicklers, those who would want to engage in the program and to at least develop some primary data as to the success of using stem cells to treat sicklers.
The Prime Minister says many residents are suffering from the illness in this country.
In fact, I had a late sister, Diane, who died from complications of sickle cell, relatively young in her, early 20s at the time. And, so I understand that.
Stem cell treatment is an emerging medical technology that avoids surgery and toxic medication by manipulating cells from the body to heal disorders. Jamie J. Roche, ABS News.
Internationally, Midday is one of 8 border crossings between Poland and Ukraine. Since Thursday, tens of thousands of people fleeing the Russian bombing of Ukraine have passed through there, and those moving through can use not only a narrow pedestrian gangway. Al Jazeera's Zain Basravi reports.
The uncertainties of war disappear briefly in such moments. Untold journeys of peril, days spent waiting at the busiest border crossing in western Ukraine. Finally, the joy of reuniting with loved ones. Others look on, waiting for their turn, for their people to turn up next, for their chance at a warm embrace. But at the Midday border crossing in Poland, not all tears being shed are those of joy.
We have friends who will keep us here. I got my child and I got my sister with her child too. We left our husbands at home. I cannot talk.
For many of the people we met here, the thought of what they have been forced to leave behind is unspeakable. People arriving here from Ukraine are often exhausted and overwhelmed, but there is also a great sense of relief because everyone who's coming here from Ukraine into Poland, they know that once they are here, they will have help, they will have support, and their lives are no longer in danger from Russian soldiers. Those getting through tell of lines so long, they are measured in kilometers, and delays lasting days. System crashes forcing the few Ukrainian border agents to handwrite the names of displaced people trying to leave, who now number in the thousands. And more are coming. People waiting in Poland for friends and family say the bureaucracy slowing things down is leaving vulnerable people, women, children, the elderly, out in the open.
I'm upset, I'm scared, and I have a little daughter, and I have friends in Warsaw. I need to go there, and I passed the border and I have no idea how to get there.
Their journey is not over, but Margarita and Anastasia count themselves among the lucky few who got out. Olga! 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 And even with the relative chaos of makeshift aid stations along the border, come on. They are better off displaced in Poland than trapped in Ukraine, where events on the ground could be the beginning of a long-term conflict and many more refugees from war in Europe. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera, Midday border crossing, eastern Poland.
Johnson & Johnson and the 3 largest U.S. drug distributors have agreed to finalize a proposed $26 billion settlement resolving claims by states and local governments that they helped fuel the U.S. opioid epidemic. More in this Reuters report.
In what is likely the biggest settlement to result from the opioid crisis, Johnson & Johnson, along with the 3 largest U.S. drug distributors, agreed on Friday to finalize a proposed $26 billion settlement resolving claims by states and local governments that the companies helped fuel the opioid epidemic. The lawsuits accused distributors McKesson, AmerisourceBergen, and Cardinal Health of lax controls that allowed massive amounts of addictive painkillers to be diverted into illegal channels, and that drug makers, including J&J, downplayed the risk of addiction when marketing the pain medicines. The deal aims to resolve more than 3,000 lawsuits seeking to hold the companies responsible for an opioid crisis that has led to hundreds of thousands of overdose deaths over the last 2 decades. The proposed settlement, first announced in July, calls for the distributors to pay up to $21 billion over 18 years and J&J to pay up to $5 billion over 9 years, money that officials say will be used to fund treatment and other programs aimed at addressing the opioid crisis. In a separate case, a U.S. judge on Friday ruled that a subsidiary of J&J can remain in bankruptcy, preventing plaintiffs from pursuing 38,000 lawsuits alleging Johnson & Johnson's baby powder and other talc products cause cancer. J&J is attempting to resolve those lawsuits by putting the recently formed subsidiary LTL Management into bankruptcy, arguing that bankruptcy was the only practical way to resolve the sheer volume of lawsuits filed. Legal experts dubbed the maneuver a Texas two-step because it exploited a Texas law that allows a company to split into two, saddling one with liabilities while the other company takes valuable assets. The strategy angered lawyers for the plaintiffs, who in court called it, quote, rotten to the core. J&J shares were up nearly 5% in midday trading.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are partly cloudy skies and the temperature is 29 degrees Celsius or 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are a gentle breeze of 11 miles per hour from the east. Seas are moderate with waves of 5 to 7 feet, consisting of easterly swells of 5 feet. The high surf advisory remains in effect mainly for the eastern-facing coastal areas. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today will be partly sunny and slightly hazy with a 20% or a slight chance of showers. Weather for tonight will be partly cloudy and slightly hazy with a 30% or a low chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 6:17 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.